Russell Hunter, 550 KFYI. He's Rob Hunter. I'm Mike Russell. Appreciate you being here. Joining us now is your Attorney General, Mark Brnovich. Mr. Brnovich, I have done a very good job of being an advocate for your 40-page opinion on can you not mandate a vaccine, sending people over to your site for that because I think it's fantastic. But now the federal courts seem to have taken over and they keep squashing mandates left and right in the the Biden administration seems to...
Obama on steroids, right?
They said, what do they know? We're just going to keep on with the mandates.
Well, hey, guys, remember that the Biden administration's mandates are not only unpopular in the court of public opinion, but in the courtrooms as well. And so they've lost again. You may have seen that just this week, a Georgia judge issued a nationwide injunction saying that they cannot order federal contractors to require the vaccine. And if you look at Georgia's lawsuit, it's essentially the same lawsuit we filed here in Arizona. Now, unfortunately, our lawsuit is still winding its way through the courts, and for whatever reason, the judge in Georgia acted a little quicker. But the bottom line is that the vaccine mandate for federal contractors is on hold, the vaccine mandate for healthcare workers is on hold, and the OSHA rules requiring any business with more than 100 employees, that's on hold as well. And so we have been involved in various lawsuits dealing with all those issues, and we still have our ongoing case in federal court dealing with federal employees and federal contractors. So we got to keep fighting this because, as I've said before, guys, this isn't about science. It's about the Constitution. And no one person, especially the president, has the authority to unilaterally require contractors or employees or people that have, physicians, doctors, nurses, first responders to put something in their body against their will.
See, this is the more alarming part about this, Mr. Attorney General Mark Brnovich joining us here in Russell and Hunter, is they all knew that. Biden knew it. Biden said it. Pelosi knew it, said it. We can't, as the federal government, put a vaccine mandate out, but they did it anyways. I had to assume that they knew they were going to lose on the court level, as you were just talking about. But the bigger picture that I think is very interesting is they didn't care. What does that say to you?
I think it shows the hypocrisy of Joe Biden and his enablers in the U.S. Senate like Cartel Kelly that are willing to basically increase the size and scope of the federal government at the expense of our individual liberties. And you guys have heard me say this. I will say it again and again, is the federal government doesn't get to be our nanny, and it surely doesn't get to be our doctor. And so I think this is a dangerous precedent because it's not only about the power that we're allowing D.C. and the president to exert, it's also about this notion that somehow everyone in this country is going to be dependent on the federal government to tell us when it's safe and not safe and what we can and what we can't do with ourselves and, what we should or shouldn't be doing with our own medical decisions. And so it really is a radical concept. And the fact that so many people, even journalists, reporters, other people, want to know your health information, my health information. They want to know this, they want to know this. It's just really gotten out of control. And we need to take a step back and say, one, it's unconstitutional. And two, whatever happened to the dignity of all of us as human beings and the privacy of our medical and health information?
But it's for the greater good. It's for the greater good.
And anytime someone tells you it's for the greater good, you should immediately think not Uncle Joe Biden, but Uncle Joe Stalin, because it really is this notion that we're going to rely on some central figure, central government to basically, control everything in our lives. It really is very un-American, and it's very dangerous.
I'm sure well put. I'm sure you remember the Supreme Court case of Obamacare when it was, is it a tax or is it a fine? When then the Obama team said against everything the entire Obama administration had said, it's a tax, and then it went through as constitutional. Do you see anything? Do you see any parallels with what's going on with the Biden mandate? Because something clued me in a little earlier this week when they were not announcing what the true definition of fully vaccinated is. I think that they're holding that back for the Supreme case. Do you get the same vibe?
I think that they continue to change kind of the goalposts or the goal mark because they don't care. And it's for them, it is about that raw exercise of power. And, you alluded to this just a second ago, that they sit there and one day we're told, hey, if you get the vaccine, it's 90% effective. Well, then it's only 40% effective. We're told if it's the vaccine, we can help the economy. And now we're told, no, we got boosters. Now we're told there's this variant, that variant. And so, it's been all over the board. It's been all over the map. There's been this inconsistency. And so I'm not sure if that's because they're confused themselves, or if it's really some sort of Machiavellian notion that they're going to create so much chaos and dependence on the federal government that they eventually want the courts to say what they're doing is okay because there's so much confusion and people aren't exactly sure what is or isn't going on as far as, the science and everything else. But I mean, the bottom line is this, and this is what so disappoints me. The rule of law is all about consistency and certainty when it comes to the application of the law. In the Biden administration, we've seen this already, right? It's been less than a year. We saw it when it came to the court striking down what they were doing on the mortgages and rent moratoriums, and then they tried to be cute and change the definition and restart the clock with the courts. The courts would have none of that. We've seen it on immigration, where we won the case, as you recall, on interim guidance, and we were fighting them on their policy of stopping the deportations, and then they went to the court and they changed the policy. They slightly tweaked it, and now they've come out with new guidance. And so every time they lose in the courtroom, they'll change the policy to essentially restart the clock so the administrative state and the bureaucrats in D.C. can still have control. And so I think what they're doing is they just keep changing the policy to move the goalposts so they can keep concentrating the power and they can still stay in control as far as what is or isn't happening.
But isn't that a huge legal question, Mr. Attorney General Mark Brnovich? You would know this better than Mike and I, but we speculate that how can you mandate something, force something, if you admit that you need 97 shots for it to be effective, or, whatever? How can you advocate for a law, a mandation, if you will? It's not even a word, but it is now.
I'm going to
mandation,
mandation.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That part of the legality, should it be a part of the case or no?
Well, I think that even people that are pro-mandate on this in good conscience cannot support the way President Biden has handled it, because they are unconstitutional, they're illegal, they're immoral, and they're quite frankly unbelievable. And for the reason you guys just said, is that we literally have had conflicting information as to what we're supposed to do, not do, whether they're boosters, not boosters, whether they're FDA approved or not FDA approved. I mean, there is all this inconsistency, and I think that's what worries people. The whole notion that it's kind of like, you don't pee on someone's leg and tell them it's raining. I mean, and so I think that that's what gets people so worried and upset, is that they feel like they're being told one thing one day, and then there's a whole new set of rules the next day. And I think that's because at their core of core, the only thing the Biden administration understands, it's not about science. It's about not science or medical science, it's political science. And for them, this is all about raw political power and about them be able to exert control over people and to create this permanent state of fear where people become more dependent and reliant on the federal government, and whether that's through their livelihoods, where they live, how they vote, or anything else. And that's really kind of what this is about for them, I think.
Real quickly, Attorney General Mark Brnovich joining us. The Remain in Mexico policy is, according to the Biden administration, now back in play. I believe that's just now in El Paso, Texas. It seems to me that they're going to government slow play this one. Can you do that when the Supreme Court of the United States says, no, it needs to be turned back now?
Well, the problem is that there is a lot of way to slow walk something or essentially kill someone. And so, the Remain in Mexico policy is designed to keep people in Mexico and designed to slow down and deter people from coming here, because their asylum claims have to be heard there. So theoretically, the Biden administration has done the right thing, and they're complying with it. But, the proof is always in the pudding, so to speak. And I don't trust the Biden administration and his enablers in Congress, like Cartel Kelly, to carry out this policy, not only consistent with the law, but in the best interest of the United States.
And it's a good point. They won't. Attorney General Mark Brnovich, we always appreciate you. Coming up on Russell and Hunter, it is Assange on his way to the United States. He's coming back for trial. It's coming up next on Russell Hunter 550 KMYI. Football fans, we all love an action-packed, high-scoring